everyone, this is the Fujifilm XS20, and in today's video I want to share with you my review of this camera body. I'm going to test it out for both photo and video at a portrait photo shoot. Not only are we doing a portrait photo shoot to see how this camera performs in the real world, we'll also be taking a look at the vlogging capabilities, autofocus performance, and I'll share my unedited photos at 100% crop so you can see all the details. The XS20 is a hybrid mirrorless camera body with a 26.1 megapixel APS-C sensor. I'm using the XF23mm f1.4 WR LM lens for this photo shoot, and the autofocus test we'll be looking at soon. And do you want to try leaning against the wall as well? Or maybe you can lean somewhere a little bit more blank. Oh, here, that would be cool. Yay, that's perfect. Oh, of course the sun's come out now. Maybe if I shoot this way. Oh yeah, that's better. Just like the XS10, the 20 embodies a simpler body design without the dedicated shutter and ISO dial you'll find on other Fujifilm bodies such as the XT series. On the top of the body, it has a film simulation dial, flash release, PCAM with a new vlog and auto function, 2 dials, ISO, Q, record, and the shutter button. This is a very compact camera, and I personally really like how small and lightweight it is. It makes on-location photography and the way I shoot by moving around a lot super easy. We could sit maybe just out here facing towards me. It's been a little while since you've seen a Fujifilm camera on the channel, the last one being the GFX 100S. I have since done a photo shoot with the X-H2, which I'm excited to upload and share with you soon, and of course, I've been using the XS20 for a couple of months as well. Fujifilm have made some huge improvements to their autofocus system since the X-T4 series and also the predecessor of this camera, the XS10. For the portrait photo shoot today and these autofocus tests I did on another day, I am relying only on eye tracking with continuous autofocus to capture my images. As you can see, eye tracking is extremely sticky and responsive. I have done a couple of photo shoots with the XS20 during the time I had with it, and I found that it was easy to use for portrait sessions as you can rely on the autofocus completely to capture sharp photos. So let's get back to the photo shoot. The XS20 paired with the 23mm produces sharp and clear images. I find the image quality is more than sufficient for a wide variety of photography, from portraits to travel to street photography. I always love what Fujifilm colors look like, and the files from this camera are no exception. I'm sharing the JPEG straight out of camera for the unedited photos you're seeing in this video. I shot everything in Provia standard. I really liked it when you had like your elbow on your knees. Speaking of colors, something new I have been doing recently with my camera reviews is leaving the white balance on auto to see how it performs. As soon as we like get into a pose, the sun comes out. It's okay, I can shoot from this way. I'm just gonna hold this back so it doesn't get in the way. I think the XS20 did a good job at keeping flattering white balance levels throughout the photo shoot. This was an extra tricky day for white balance since we had a lot of clouds moving quickly in the sky, causing it to be bright and sunny one moment and cool and cloudy the next. While the sun's out, it looks like it'll be out for a minute. Let's go to the other side of the road. By the way, I did do a photo shoot with the XS20 for Fujifilm, and you'll be able to watch that on their YouTube channel soon. It was a really fun photo shoot that I'm so excited for you to see. So while I was working with Fujifilm to create that campaign, I wanted to mention that this review you're watching now is independent from that. So Fujifilm have not seen or reviewed this video. This camera shoots 8 frames per second in mechanical shutter mode and 20 frames per second in electronic shutter mode for continuous burst shooting. I made use of the mechanical shutter for the entire photo shoot, which is very quiet. Okay, and I'll get in a little bit closer as well. Oh, I love that, over your shoulder. This can be both a positive and a negative. On location, if it's a little bit loud, the model can have difficulty hearing, so she doesn't know when to move. However, if you're doing street photography or capturing an event, the subtle shutter sound will be very helpful. I really like how green that is. Maybe we could come out here. Do you want to try standing out here on the grass? I feel like for this one it'd be cool to get some like kind of moody, floppy looking one. The XS20 features a fully articulating LCD screen, and if you've been around on my channel before, you would know that I prefer a tilt screen as the angle feels more natural to shoot photos with. However, I understand the flip screen is essential for vlogging and content creation, which this camera also caters to. I did make use of the LCD for the entire photo shoot and found it's a nice monitor to work with on location. For the price point, the viewfinder is okay, but I personally preferred using the LCD. In general, this was a very fun camera to use. I had a great experience and found it handled all the situations I put it in really well. If you wanted to sit just here with your feet on the road. Oh, that's beautiful. I think this camera leans towards being used by photographers who need a good quality daily camera, who do travel photography, portraits, and street photography. Not to mention content creators such as vlogging and getting nice behind the scenes footage. Just keep in mind it does only have one SD card slot, but it is UHS 2, which is nice to see. Let's walk like just around the corner as well. Whoa, this looks so cool here. That's really beautiful. Lovely. I feel like if you pull like your face towards the fence would look nice. That's cool. You can see like the pink in the background too. Been trying really hard to bring more color into my work. So I always do like green, black and white. Beautiful. And did you want to try crouching? If you have like your back against the wall, you kind of maybe do like that. One last point I want to share about the build before moving on to video is that I can personally attest to the great weather sealing of this camera body. I mentioned the campaign I did for Fujifilm earlier, and without spoiling too much of the video, at the start of our shoot, it was pouring rain. You can see in this behind the scenes shot how drenched the camera and my hair is too. The camera didn't care at all and performed flawlessly during these conditions, so that's really great to see on an entry-level mirrorless offering from Fujifilm. Alright, and then I thought we could do one more like walking shot, might be fun.
Yeah.
So okay. We could like walk together slowly just like along the fence. Okay. So we'll start here. I feel like it would be cool if you just kind of walk kind of slow. You could like look over your shoulder, okay. Look to the side, look away from me as well. Now, video. The XS20 does 422 10-bit internal recording. We have the option to film in 6.2K 30p, 4K 60p, or 1080 240p video. All these video tests you're seeing are filmed in 4K 50p, and I've labeled what picture profile I'm using. Dan filmed everything with the XF 16mm f1.4 lens handheld, so we can take a look at the 6.5 stops of IBIS. I'm pleased to see Fujifilm have included both a 3.5mm microphone and headphone jack to this camera. The footage in 4K 50p out of the XS20 looks pretty good in my opinion. We have great colors, and in Provia film simulation, it's quite clean. F-Log 2 uses a high base ISO, which does cause a fair amount of noise in the footage for my personal preference. For handheld filming, you can see a little movement from the camera, but overall, I think it's stable enough to use without any gimbals. Let's take a look at this camera for vlogging now. So we're going to test out what it's like vlogging on the XS20, which is what I'm doing right now. And I'm gonna walk around a little bit so you can see what IBIS looks like and see what the footage looks like when we have a little bit of movement. So I currently have the XS20 on a Joby, so I've got like an extra point of contact. I'm not holding the camera directly, and I'm using the 14mm f2.8. I do have an ND filter in front of the lens, so this is not what the true straight out of camera colors look like. If you want to reference preference for that, please use the photos that I shot earlier where I don't have any filters on my lens. I'm also shooting this in standard picture profile as well without any editing whatsoever, so you could just see what it looks like. And this is also what it sounds like when I've got an external microphone plugged into the camera. So I've disconnected my microphone, and this is what the internal microphone of the XS20 sounds like. So there's nothing plugged in or attached to the camera. This is just the inbuilt microphone. And I'll just talk for a couple of seconds so you can hear what that looks like, so you can hear what that sounds like and compare it to the other footage that I shared before as well. Finally, let's have a closer look at focus speed and accuracy in video mode. There is a benefit to using newer Fujifilm lenses with their newer bodies, as there have been considerable advancements in performance. During the video with Amelia, Dan was using the 16mm lens, and I found while focusing was generally sticky when the model and camera were at a consistent distance, when they moved towards or away from each other, focusing would slip briefly and take a moment to catch back up. On the other hand, the focusing test I did at home with the 23mm f1.4, I found autofocus was a lot faster and more reliable for video. That is all I have for today's review on the Fujifilm XS20. Let me know what you think of the review and which ones were your favorite photos down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I make new videos every single week, so I'll see you all next time. Bye!